Hey all you fabulous Foobs. Welcome to another episode of Foobs and Fitness. Today we're going to take a look at all the different types of breast cancer that are out there. So buckle up because this one's going to be a doozy. Let me guess. You're scouring the internet to try and find whatever you can on breast cancer, right? You might just be on the edge of the rabbit hole, or maybe you've already dove in head first. Either way, I'm glad we found each other. Whether you've just been diagnosed yourself, or maybe someone close to you just told you that they have breast cancer, Foobs and Fitness is a fast-growing little gang that no one ever wanted to be a part of. So let me know who you are in the comments below. While we're at it, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can stay up to date with all the Fooblicious things that we've got going on. Now let's jump into our main topic for this week. If you're anything like me, like how I was before I got diagnosed, you're probably saying to yourself, wait, there's different types of breast cancer? Don't worry, I'm going to try and make this as easy as possible for you to understand. There are so many different kinds of breast cancer, not to mention different ways to describe them, so it's pretty easy to get confused. Breast cancer is the umbrella term for each specific diagnosis, from ductal to lobular, in situ to invasive, and so on. In order to get to this stage of the game, one may have already had a mammogram, maybe even an ultrasound, or maybe even a biopsy. From there, the medical staff will analyze the structure of the tumor to determine what type of breast cancer it is. Depending on the type of tissue from where your tumor is found and whether it's confined locally or spread to other parts of the body, will determine how the cancer behaves and which treatment will be most effective. Yes, there are different types of treatment out there, so make sure you're talking to your doctor in that regard. Ductal carcinoma is one of the most common types of breast cancer. This type is formed within the lining of the milk duct. Breast ducts carry milk from where it's made in the lobules to the nipple. Think of your ducts as the throughway for breast milk. Ductal carcinoma can remain within the ducts, which would then be classified as non-invasive cancer, or medically termed in situ. But it can also break out of the ducts and invade either the nearby or distant organs. This would then be classified as invasive ductal carcinoma. Lobular carcinoma is where the tumor is located in the lobules of the breast. This is where breast milk is produced, and then it's connected to the ducts and goes onward to the nipple. When the tumor breaks out of the lobules, it's considered invasive lobular carcinoma, which is similar to ductal carcinoma. Breast cancer can also begin in the connective tissues that make up the muscles, the fat, and the blood vessels of the breast. Though this type is classified as rare, it's called a sarcoma. When you take the description of the type of tumor and whether it has spread beyond the place of origin, you'll see a diagnosis like DCIS, which is ductal carcinoma in situ, which means there's a tumor that's located in the ducts, but it's contained. Or you may see ILC, which is invasive lobular carcinoma, which is a tumor that started in the lobules but has invaded other parts of the body, potentially your nearby lymph nodes. Now let's take it a step further. When your tumor is looked at under a microscope, the medical team is looking at how unique the cancer cells appear. They're also looking at the differences between your cancer cells and your body's normal cells. A grade is then given from 1 to 3 to show how different the cancer cells are from the normal cells. Grade 3 is when the tumor cells look vastly different, and this is what's considered the most aggressive kind. Breast cancer is more often than not thought of to be a hormonal type of cancer, which sometimes can be the case. A woman's body naturally produces hormones called estrogen and progesterone. These hormones do their job by attaching to the specific receptors on our tissues. There's also a gene called HER2, which is a growth promoting protein. So when breast cells have the receptors for these hormones or gene, it can lead to cancer. So think of these tumor receptors as the locks to get into your house. On the front door, you have a bottom lock and a deadbolt. And then on the back door, you also have a lock. So if the tumor tests positive for any or maybe all three of these receptors, you're then classified as hormone positive. For example, if your tumor tests positive for estrogen, let's say, the tumor then needs the estrogen key to get in. When your tumor has an estrogen lock, this means your body's naturally producing estrogen is the key to making it grow. Now, if you're someone like me, sometimes a tumor will not have any of these locks. It's basically an open house that's just open to the public. Come on in, no keys needed. This is called triple negative. This type of cancer is more aggressive because it doesn't need the keys from your body in order to grow. It basically feeds off of itself. So the bigger it gets, the more powerful it becomes. So essentially, I was diagnosed with invasive ductal carcinoma, grade 3, triple negative breast cancer. This is a lot of information to take in, I know, but we're not done yet. The next type of breast cancer is called inflammatory breast cancer. It's also another aggressive form, but it's classified as rare. This is when the cancer cells block the lymph vessels, which cause the breast to look like it's become red or swollen. IBC can be extremely difficult to diagnose because it doesn't look like typical breast cancer, meaning that more often than not, there's no lump and it doesn't always show up on mammograms. Another classified rare cancer is Paget's disease. This cancer typically starts in the ducts and spreads to the skin of the nipple and then onto the areola. Usually only one breast is affected, but it can typically be found alongside with DCIS or IDC. With Paget's disease, the symptoms are often very visual. The nipple and the areola look red and scabby. There may be blood, pus. The nipple may also look flat and inverted, and sometimes it might even burn or itch. Phyllodes tumor is another type of cancer, but it develops in the connective tissue of the breast, which is in contrast to carcinomas. Remember, they develop in the ducts or the lobules. Within this type of cancer, malignant tumors tend to grow the fastest out of its 3 classifications. Another rare form of cancer is called angiosarcoma, which typically begins in blood vessels or lymph vessels. So then why are they not classified as blood cancer or even lymphoma? Well, that's because blood cancers actually come from within bone marrow, and lymphoma is cancer of the entire lymphatic system. So this type of cancer can also cause skin changes, like purple nodules, and sometimes there may be a lump in the breast. Sarcomas usually form from previous radiation treatment to the breast, which can happen down the road years from now and arise from either muscle or developed tissue. Please know that if you find a lump in the breast after radiation, more often than not, it's probably scar tissue. These can develop for up to a year after treatment, and your team's going to monitor this very closely. Whew, that was a lot of information, right? Well, we're only getting started, and it's just the tip of the iceberg. So make sure you check back again next Wednesday at 3 p.m. for a brand new video. And as always, if you have any questions, I'm always here to answer them. Make sure you keep being a badass.